Hello and welcome to Stash Chats. So today I'm going to be talking to Joy, who you may remember from Pink Coat Club if you've got some of the labels in the old days. But Joy is really... Sorry, I'm just checking the chat, making sure we're still really live. But yeah, thanks to everyone who is joining live. Don't forget to pop your questions for Joy in the question box. And we've got a few questions that have been asked prior as well, so we'll get through those. And yeah, so I'm really excited to talk. She manages to keep that going. So yeah, we'll probably have to go through getting Joy to join. That's a bit of a strange thing to say, but we'll try and get Joy in. It'll probably take a few goes, like it always does. But you know, what's new? Yeah, how are you guys all doing? Thanks so much for joining this evening. Are you working on any sewing projects right now? I'm just going to try inviting Joy just to see if it will work that way around. Yeah, Joy, I'm trying. Don't worry, Joy, this happens literally every single time. I don't know if it's me or just Instagram. I'm kind of inclined to blame Instagram, honestly. But there we go. Accept. But yeah, if you've joined these lives before, this will be a very familiar scenario. Joy wasn't able to join. Okay. Well, Joy is joining. We will have Joy on this chat. So yeah, like I was saying, Joy has got a very oh, here's Joy. Hello.
I'm just going to move my camera up a bit so you don't just have a view of my chin. There we go.
So we can see your lovely festive Christmas tree as well.
Christmas tree?
Well,
Halloween tree.
Halloween tree. Yeah, there we go. So how are you doing, Joy?
I am okay, thank you. I have had a day, so I apologise in advance if my spicy little brain is a bit mushy. So it'll take me ages to think of answers to anything, but it's good. We're here. That's the important thing.
Spiciness and mushiness is definitely like the Halloween season. It's like
true. I'm mushy like a pumpkin that's been left out too long.
Adam So says they need a Halloween tree as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I kind of didn't really know that they weren't a thing. I just did it thinking it wasn't that original, but apparently no one else has a Halloween tree.
That's the joy. Well, I feel like otherwise you get the tree out for 1 month of the year. You may as well adorn it.
Well, this is the tricky thing though, because it's like, I have it up for October with my little pumpkins and ghosts on, but then do I leave it up for November? Because then it's up for a quarter of the year, and that feels like a lot.
I feel like, yeah, go for it. Embrace the tree.
I'll take that. So last year, I think I decided I was going to put it away for November and get it back out for Christmas, and then I never got it out for Christmas again because I couldn't be bothered.
Maybe we need to like make a theme of November as well.
That's true. I could do like a sewing theme and put little threads and stuff on it for November. That would be cute.
You could like repurpose all of your empty thread spools into little decorations.
I mean, Juniper might have something to say about that because they're her favourite toys, because she's not allowed to play with ones with thread on, obviously, for danger reasons. So as soon as there's an empty one, that goes to her. And they're probably all littered under the pieces of furniture in my office where she's just swiped them.
So do you want to give us a little introduction about you, Joy, about like what you like to sew and just generally about yourself?
Hello. As you've probably gathered, my name is Joy. So I used to run Pink Coat Club, a pin and label business, and now I am just me, basically. So my Instagram is a bit of a mishmash of sewing and other crafts. So I live in Cambridgeshire with my boyfriend and my cat, who I was hoping was going to join us today, but I don't think she is. She's sitting outside the door sulking. But I've put her little chair, her favourite chair here, in the hope she comes and joins us. So when I started sewing, I mostly used to sew dresses and lots of novelty prints and stuff, and my taste has changed a bit since then. And so now it is a bit of a standing joke amongst the people I talk to the most about sewing that all I sew now is shirts. Just everything is a shirt. Yeah, so hence obviously, well, I'd say this is a blouse rather than a shirt. That's a definite difference.
So is
Um,
it a beige blue that you're wearing?
it is, yes. I was going to wear something with pumpkins on, but then I thought I'd probably just disappear into the mass of them behind me.
So love sewing shirts, beautiful collar detail, says Adam.
Yeah, thank you.
Do
Yes,
you
I
find
felt like it would be a bit much with the so we I don't know if you can see, but it's got like little tiny mushrooms on it, and I thought it would be too much with the mushrooms there. But I realised it really does look a bit like prairie-ish with the white collar. But hey,
embracing the
yeah,
trend?
I was originally going to embroider mushrooms on it, but that didn't happen.
That would be cute. There's always time. There's always time.
Yeah, maybe a mushroom enamel pin would be quicker.
Yeah.
Also,
I love
like I get really scratchy when I talk, so I will be chugging.
Oh, that's great. I think everyone needs a reminder to get hydrated as well.
I
So
I am the friendly neighborhood hydration reminder. I just, whenever it's hot, because I drink so much, I just message everyone that I know doesn't. Like, reminder to drink water. Silly cucumber.
can't be a very good cucumber if you've not got any water in
Exactly.
you. So follow you up on that.
I'm like really hot. Why is it hot?
It's the pressure of the live,
I don't know if I've ever done a live before, so this is exciting.
Well, I feel like after the rocky start, which happens every single time, and we're
You warned me because I would have been terrified. I've done it wrong. I've got the wrong day. Everyone hates me. I'm going to bed.
No, we need to know about your stash, Joy.
Well, I thought, seeing as obviously that the whole shtick is quite how small it was, I would show off by being able to just hold the whole thing.
Nice.
There we go. It was originally going to be on a chair next to me, but I've left the chair free for Juniper. So we'll hope she comes and joins us. And now it's like a nice thing for me to lean on.
Yeah. So how many pieces of fabric are in your
I
stash
actually
then?
don't know. And I feel like I kind of look like a children's TV presenter with my little chair in the corner, so we can count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think, unless I miscounted. That would be embarrassing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, correct. 10. And to be honest, one of those only arrived yesterday. So
Up to a nice round number.
exactly, yeah, not too shabby.
So yeah, we had some questions in. So Mille Saison said, do you perhaps have a favourite colour?
I couldn't possibly say. Although, to be honest, there's only 3 rust fabrics. I don't think that's too many. I mean, there's quite a lot of rust on here, and this is brown, and yeah, okay, yeah, for sure, it is rust. But the weird thing is like, whenever I share a rust fabric or I make something in rust, people always say like, oh, your taste in colours has really changed. It's like, no, I always wore this colour. I just also wore a lot of pink and the balance has kind of shifted the other way now. And I now have very little pink.
Do you feel like you were tied to the pink because of Pink Coat Club and you were like, well, pink's the brand, so I have to.
I mean, I kind of was, and when I closed it, I kind of hated it, and I just couldn't wear it at all. I, in fact, got rid of my pink coat. I know.
Now you're like the not pink / no coat club.
No, brown coat club. I mean, that sounds kind of depressing and a bit gross.
Yeah, so how do you like manage your stash? And do you feel like your stash is, like a season's worth of projects, or you just sew them when you sew them? Like, how do you think about it?
The plan, although I got very behind. Like, I felt like I had quite a manageable amount of things I needed to sew for summer, although I didn't have like any shorts and like no short sleeve shirts and stuff. So I had what I thought was a manageable list of projects, and I'm now realizing that like 3 of these fabrics were things I didn't sew in summer, which was so I made a white linen shirt and I've got a little bit left, so that's going to be a matching pair of shorts. And then I also had 2 lovely cotton jerseys from Sew Me Sunshine, so they were going to be the Somar camisoles. And I made a couple for pajamas. I like refashioned some pajamas I had just to like check the fit of it, so I kind of tweaked it and then made the second pair, and then I never got around to making the ones I was actually going to wear. But most of these They have plans to be sewn in the autumn and winter, but I don't know if they will. But that's kind of how I approach it is, am I going to sew this in the next 3, 4 months, whatever.
So that's how you decide whether you're going to buy a fabric, if you feel like you've actually got time to make it.
Yeah, because I feel like my taste changes a bit, and like if I buy something with a project in mind, the longer it's in my stash, the more likely that is to change. So I do try and stick to that. Like, am I going to sew it for like this season or the next season? And also, I also have a volume-based stash management system, which is actually an incredibly not catchy acronym. I first used when I had a Kallax, which I think is the like official fabric storage system.
We
actually don't have one in.
Yeah, like IKEA to do like a discount for sewing community or something.
Exactly, you so should. Do you have yours in a Kallax, don't you?
I've got mine in a PAX, which is an IKEA.
Oh, fancier. Nice. So I used to have a Kallax, and I think I had two things what my fabric was in, but I don't know if you can really see, I've now just got one drawer, and that's what everything fits in, and then there's one below it which has like scraps and stuff, so leftovers from projects and like little bits of jersey and stuff that I use for neckbands. So that is kind of my loose rule, is like if it fits in the drawer I can have it, and if it doesn't then nope.
Yeah, I think that's quite a good system as well, because it means that you don't just like end up overflowing. Like, it's like having a budget, but the space is the limit.
Well, I feel like I do also have a budget in terms of like not having a huge amount of money to spend on fabric, and I also am a bit of a sucker for nicer fabric as well. So I don't actually buy many pieces, but then I'll tend to buy fabric that's a little bit nicer. So it's like I might only buy like 6 pieces of fabric in the whole year, but I know that they're like really nice ones that I will wear and love. Although saying that, I think about half the fabric I've bought this year has been from D-stashes, so it has been quite cheap, which is nice.
The bonus.
Yeah.
So have you always had such a compact stash? I know we mentioned your 2 Kallax boxes.
Yeah, I think it's always been quite small. I think probably by sewing community standards, I think that is quite small. But I definitely wasn't as like intentional with it when I started sewing, because I didn't really know, what fabric to use for what projects. I didn't know which fabrics I actually liked sewing and wearing. Viscose, I hate you. Sorry. So I would just kind of buy stuff with sort of wild abandon without projects in mind. And I just didn't really, I didn't think about it as much, like the composition and how I was going to care for it and how environmental it was. We had like a little, obviously I live far away from the man outside Sainsbury's, sadly, but we did used to have our own little St Ives version, which was, I think he said he used to run a theatre company or something crazy. So it was called like Barney the Bolt. So in the extremely unlikely scenario that there is anybody else from this neck of the woods on here, they may know Barney the Bolt. But he used to have fabrics from like 50p a metre. So I had absolutely loads of that, and it was mostly crap.
It's good for like toiles or like when you're first learning though.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and I used to chop up a lot of bed sheets and stuff when I was learning, which was very handy because everything I made was terrible.
So yeah, that does actually lead on to this good question that we got from Sewing Sensation, who said, do you like choose the fabrics based on the like fiber content first, or do you gravitate more towards like the colors and the prints?
I would say probably my order goes colour, which is rust. So I've just seen that Harriet from So Be Sunshine has just joined. So her new filtering system on the website is an absolute dream, because basically I go on it and I filter by, I think it's orange rather than rust, and then I filter by cotton and linen, and then I just look and I'm like, here's my little perfect curated little bundle of fabrics to shop from. And actually I think all of the rust fabrics here might be from her. So yeah, I would say it's probably the colour that attracts me most, although I try not to go completely overboard on rust fabrics because I do already have quite a few. But yeah, definitely fabric composition. So I realised a while ago I actually really hate sewing with viscose because I just don't have the patience for slippery fabrics. And also they just I feel like I manage to crease clothes more than the average person. I think probably because I have terrible posture, so I'm always like slumped and it's all crumpling around my waist, which drives me mad. Yeah, so, and I tend to buy with a project in mind as well, even if it's just like a shirt. It's always a shirt, a long sleeve shirt or a short sleeve shirt, or maybe even a jacket. So yeah, so, and then, oh yeah, the only other exception to that is like I buy a meter of jersey for a short sleeve t-shirt, because I generally know I can get that out of that, which is very handy for, I think you may be able just be able to see it. This amazing bat fabric was one of my other newest ones from Hey So Sister. I put a thing in stories saying like, oh, you know, help me think of something more exciting to make than a t-shirt, and I ended up making a t-shirt. Well, I haven't made it yet. My plan is to make a t-shirt because I'm not very inventive. I like what I like, and I tend to stick with it.
But also there's a reason why t-shirts are like a wardrobe staple. They're just like so easy to wear.
Exactly. And I feel like I got like super into sewing t-shirts maybe like 3 years ago. But like the style of t-shirts I made then is not really what I would choose to wear now. I still wear them because I like the fabrics, but they're like, I don't know, they're just all like weirdly a little bit too short, and they're like the sleeves are really short. I don't know why I thought that was my desired t-shirt sleeve length at the time. So I'm kind of very slowly building up a collection of t-shirts that feel a bit more like the style I want now, and then I can always refashion the old ones into like my camisoles for pajamas, or baby leggings is another one that stuff I don't wear gets turned into.
Sophie says, how did you work out which colours to focus on? Says she loves them all.
Ah, thanks. So it's just the colours that make me happy. Like I just get such a big dopamine hit from autumn colours, as you can probably tell. I would love to get my colours done. I feel like I was talking about this with was that when we were at the Semi Sunshine birthday party? Were we talking about getting colours done? I was talking about it with someone.
There's a big hype on getting your colours done at the moment. I feel like everyone's doing it, right?
So I would like to do it, but also I would be really sad if they told me to wear colours that I don't like, because I don't like many colours. So I do try and stick to a little bit of a colour palette, because otherwise I find that I just make stuff that doesn't go together.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of rusts, lots of mustards, but then I also love a bit of brown and a bit of navy, and I do have some slightly lighter blues as well, and I feel like they mostly all go together, which is handy.
Well, that probably helps like keep the size of your stash down as well, because then everything kind of capsule that you don't, so you don't have to buy other fabric just to go with one other rogue thing that you bought.
Yes, yeah, and the other thing was that I would just make patterned and printed everything, like bottoms and tops, and I know some people can pull that off, but I always just felt like a bit of a wally doing it, so it wasn't not my journey, as the kids say. So I had a period where I only allowed myself to buy plain fabrics, which did work quite well. I've got quite a few patterns have snuck in now, but I feel like I've now got a slightly better balance.
Yeah, I feel like a very specific like fabric restriction can actually be really helpful, because at one point I gave myself a ban of buying any blue fabric. So I'm a bit
blue fabric.
I'm a bit like you are with the rust, where I was like any fabric I was just like, oh my gosh, I need this. But then I was like, right, I've got so much blue fabric, my whole wardrobe is blue, I'll buy whatever I want as long as it's not blue. And then I found I just wasn't buying it.
Oh, nice. I'm now trying to think all the like fabrics I can think of that are like the most you ones that you've sewn have been blue. Like obviously the beautiful retro floral with the blue background that was in your reel you shared the other day, which was actually a fabric that I owned as well, and I held on to it for years because I loved the print so much, but I did finally let it go because I was like, I'm not gonna sew this. It's got
those autumnal tones in it as well.
It has, yeah, with blue, so it's like it's the perfect color combo for me.
Yeah, I feel like now that reel's done so well, I really need to sew that fabric up before I forget.
Imagine how much we'll love it when you're actually wearing it as a garment, not just draping it over yourself.
The inexplicable powers of Instagram.
Oh, God, love it. I realised a while ago, I think I was looking for a particular old reel, and like one of my older ones randomly had got like 200,000 views on Facebook, and I was like, this is arguably one of the worst reels I've ever made. Like it was really boring. It was just me taking a ready to wear dress and cutting it into a top.
Imagine like 200,000 people like watching you do something though. It's insane.
No. And I was like, oh, I look like such a dork in it as well, because I was like standing there like, this looks stupid.
Yeah, I feel like you just have to like just suck it up for reals and just do whatever. Like if you feel embarrassed, it shows, so you just have to like go all out.
It totally does. Like, I don't realize actually how rarely I'm like my face is in a reel that I make, because I make so many like hand crafty ones now that when it comes to me being in it, I'm like, I don't know how to face.
It's like, how do I stop motion my own face?
Genius! I love that. I was trying to film, so I've actually just written a blog post for Semi Sunshine, so I was trying to get some video footage of that, and like I was like, I will go to the most secluded place I can think of, and some man still walked past and was like asking me what I was doing. I was so embarrassed.
That's funny. So what's your latest project that you've just finished then?
So it is actually the Jessie tee, which I think, have you just sewn that, or you've just cut it out from your amazing Shrek fabric as well? So that is what I was going to make with the bats, but believe it or not, I have had bad luck with a basic boxy tee pattern before, naming no names, and it looked terrible on me, and I'd used really expensive fabric. So I just used a, I think it was from Medistash actually. It's like a kind of houndstoothy check fabric. Just to check that I liked it, which I did. So that is finished. I can grab it if you like.
Yeah, go.
I was going to wear it, but I changed my mind because it looked a bit boring.
Got to really like get the shirt vibes out so you can show your collar sewing enthusiasm.
I actually hate sewing collars. They're really hard, but I just like wearing them. So there we go.
Nice. Oh, I like that. I feel like
I was worried it would strobe a bit on camera, but yeah, it's quite cool, isn't it? I have no idea where it's from. So yeah, that is what I've sewn. I sewed at the weekend, so I will hopefully get my bat version sewn up this weekend as well.
Nice. So you'll be all ready for Halloween then, for your like.
Exactly. So I bought another Halloween fabric from Hazel's sister last year, and I never sewed it for Halloween. So when I bought the bats, Georgie was like, "You've got to sew them. You've got to sew them."
Do you have the fabric you bought from Georgie?
I do. It is possibly the most Joy fabric that's ever existed. So I love that it's actually got a pink background, so it's a bit of a nod to the Pink Coat Club days, and then it's got little rust and mustard rainbows and daisies and cats and bats and cobwebs and mushrooms. It's just a dream. So this, I was originally trying to think of something a little bit quicker so I could get this sewn up this month too, but I realized like the heart wants what it wants, and this wants to be an Archer shirt. So even if I don't actually finish it until November, that will probably be my next project on the list after the bats.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So we had another question in from Sophie about, have you got any tips for your journal that you make? So like for your journaling of your stash.
Here's one I made earlier. I did have it handy because I thought this might come up. So I started this, I think, last year, and I got like really into it, and then I just kind of stopped writing projects in it. And I kept telling myself, oh, I had to catch up before I could write the new ones in. And it got to like June this year, and I thought, I don't want to do that. I don't care. I can't even remember what I sewed. Like, it's pointless. So I restarted it. So I made like a new cover page, and I made new stash pages and stuff because I really didn't like the writing I'd done on the old ones. Is silly. But since then, I have been a bit better at using it. So you can see more pictures on my Instagram. So I have like some simple pages at the front. So this is where I put like my finished projects. I've just realized, is it probably backwards to you?
Yeah.
So I list my finished projects. So even if I don't actually write anything else up, I know what I made and when, so I can then come back to it. And I do tend to get a bit behind with actually doing the project pages, but they're actually really nice to do when I kind of want to do something creative, but I maybe don't have the energy to sew. So I tend to do these in the evening or at the weekends. So I would say the main tip for doing it is just not put pressure on yourself. Like, if you're not enjoying it and you don't want to do it, then don't do it, because you don't need to. And I tend to, because I know that I won't write it up for a little while, I tend to scribble some notes on my phone, or actually quite often just on the pattern piece as I'm making it. So I'll make a note of like any adjustments I did, any errors I did, although those tend to haunt me, so I remember them. And then a thing I've started doing since I restarted it is I've got a little section I do. So if I learned a new skill when I did it, so the Archer shirt I sewed in like January, I think. Oh, April. I think it took me like 3 months. It was the first time I'd done a traditional shirt collar. And yeah, so I quite often I'll like write all the blurb about it, but I won't have done the photo page. And at the moment I've just got like some placeholders. But yeah, so another cool tip I found, because I love the little in like graphics that people do on Instagram, where you overlay like the line drawing with the fabric.
Yeah.
So I've done like a kind of weird paper version of that. I don't know how well you can see. So I got these transparent post-it notes and I drew the line drawing on that, and then I laid it over the fabric, which I thought was quite fun.
Really clever. Yeah, that's great. I love your idea of writing down things you've learned as well, because it can be so difficult to like appreciate how much you've progressed in your sewing.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Oh, I feel like I did share a picture earlier, but I feel like the fabric stash page is probably the most relevant one as well. So when I originally started this, I thought that the fabric would make it super bulky. So I did like photos of it, but it was really annoying to keep up with because I just never got around to doing it. So I switched back to doing like proper fabric swatches now, and you can feel them as well, which is nice.
It's quite nice to be able to actually feel this a bit more tactile and a bit more
honest, my stash is so small that it doesn't make it super bulky anyway. So that's fun.
Yeah, exciting. Well, everyone who's watching, do let us know if you've got any more questions in the chat. Yeah, so how do you feel about your stash, Joy? Do you think like, yes, this is like how I want my stash to be? Are you like inspired by it?
Pretty much. I feel a bit bad because like loads of people see, like I quite often see people with big stashes feeling really guilty about it, which I absolutely don't think you should do. If it's stuff you like and you're going to use it and it makes you happy, then you do you. But yeah, for me, I think my stash is like, it's pretty much spot on. I feel like it's a good representation of what I sew and what I wear and how fast I sew, to be honest, because when I did have more fabrics, I just found it like really overwhelming and stressful, like all the choices. Whereas now I look at it and I'm like, I basically know what every fabric is going to be. I kind of know ideally what season I'll make it or I'll have it made for. And yeah, I tend to have kind of like a list in my head anyway of like when I'm going to make stuff. So I usually plan like 1 or 2 projects ahead. So yeah, that's for me. It feels pretty spot on. I think it takes up a good amount of space. It makes me happy. Go me. Not to be smug or anything.
Not to do my own horn, but my stash is the best.
No, it's just cute, isn't it? Every so often I do, because it's like it's just in this drawer and I have everything, so it's sort of like the Marie Kondo method, so it's all like lined up. I do sometimes just open it and look at it because it's pretty and it makes me happy.
Oh, we have a really nice comment from Harriet from Sew Me Sunshine. She says, "How come you are both so amazing? Fangirling watching you both."
Nah. Thanks, how's
say that we're both massive fans of Harriet and Sew Me Sunshine as well. So
we are. That was in fact the last time we saw each other. Was at Harriet's studio when you helped me choose the fabric for my next blog post.
Liberty, yes. Ooh, I'm excited. I
was going to wear that because it felt very fitting, but I've actually already worn it this week and it's in the wash.
So we got a question from Stitch and Star by Nadia. Do you have many patterns? And do you have a favourite pattern?
So I feel like I've done like a proper bring and tell? No, show and tell. So I do actually have my patterns here with me because I do not have very many. So I have this cute little box that I think I got a parcel in, and that is all my paper patterns in there, which is not very many. I think there's maybe like 10 or something in there. I think I mentioned a bit earlier on, but like my style changed quite a lot, and I had loads of like dress patterns and stuff I just wasn't going to make, so I did get rid of quite a lot of them. And then I have about 3 of these kind of folders with like little plastic pockets in. So I have, yeah, different ones for different types of patterns. But to be honest, I don't make a lot of different patterns. I'm a bit of a creature of a habit, and like I'm very happy to just have like the same shirt in like 3 different prints. And I think that's probably how I kind of juggle the buying slightly more expensive fabric, is that I actually don't buy very many patterns, and like once I've altered something to fit, then I'm like, I'm not going to buy another pattern and bother twirling that and altering it when I know I've got one that I like here. And it's just so easy to kind of mix things up. Once you've got a base that you know you like, you can kind of do all sorts of things to it to make it look cool and fun and interesting. So not to just plug it again, but my blog post that's coming out for Semi Sunshine soon, that is basically me making yet another hack of a free pattern. And just kind of showing how you can make it look completely different, which I think is always fun to do. That's probably one of my favorite things to do with sewing, I think. So I don't actually know if I have a favorite pattern. That is probably one of them. So that is the Fabric Store Paola workwear jacket. So I have made one jacket version, but I've also made like 3 or 4 shirt versions of it as well. And I don't know why, it just seems to fit me better than any other pattern that's supposed to be a shirt. So it looks a bit like the Helen's Closet Gilbert top, which I've made, and I don't know why, it just doesn't fit me. Like I end up with this sort of weird bagginess here, whereas that just fits me so much better. This is probably another favourite. So this is the Nina Lee Bakerloo. I like it because I am a lover of shirts, but I feel like this is something a little bit different, but it's still really nice and easy to wear and super comfy, and the frill is fun, even if I hate sewing it. And then I do like the Archer shirt. I did not, I'll be honest, enjoy sewing it because it was very hard. But I love that. That's probably like my favourite style of shirt to wear. So I have quite a few ready to wear ones that are that kind of sort of semi-masculine style. So yeah, those 3 are my faves.
So you're good at resisting the hype when new patterns come out then?
I try. I do every so often succumb, and to be honest, if I buy a pattern when it launches, I honestly don't know if I actually get around to sewing it. I feel like that happens quite a lot. I'm trying to think what I've done that with recently. So I did actually buy the Friday Pattern Company Donny shirt when it came out, and I do like that, and I will sew it. I just haven't got around to it yet. So actually, yes, maybe one of the fabrics in my stash could become a Donny.
They'll definitely work in a linen, so
yeah,
you're good.
Yeah, although I haven't actually, I think the only linen I've got is the little tiny bit of white linen left to make some shorts. I have, it is actually a lot of kind of wintry fabrics in there at the moment, which is good.
These are heading into, so yeah. when the weather gets the memo, you'll be all set.
Exactly.
Oh, amazing. So I think we've basically covered everything. Is there anything else that you want to show us or tell us about?
I can't think of anything. Oh, I will just show you, because I think it probably got a bit lost in the stash, but I will just show you my most recent fabric purchase, because it's very exciting. Actually, this could be a Donny, couldn't it? So this was from the Barcello edit. So this was Narissa's Designs, which I just love it. It's such a cool colour, and it's not picking up the brown very well, but I imagine you've all seen it now anyway. So yeah, that I think is probably, that one might be 3rd on my list after my spooky fabrics, because I'm very excited to sew that. And then I will just show you what I think is probably my most bargain fabric purchase ever, which is 2 meters of this vintage houndstooth. It's like a really, really tiny brown houndstooth. And I got this on eBay for £10. Wow. I bought it in the summer. So that is a pro tip for buying secondhand fabrics, is, although it's kind of contrary to my belief of buying things in the season you're going to sew them, is like, if there is something that you want that's more expensive, buy it out of season. And also, I don't buy wool new because I'm vegan, so that is another way I like to get around that.
Very cunning. So what are you thinking of making with that?
So that has, it's kind of changed a few times in my head, but I think it probably will be a Friday Pattern Company heather blazer. So I've not sewn that before. And to be honest, I have not sewn outerwear for a very long time. So I might have to make a toile or a practice or something. But I can't think of her screen name now. Vic. Making and books and making and books, something like that. Anyway, she recently showed a picture of this amazing matching set she got from a charity shop, which was like an oversized wool blazer and a mini skirt, and that was kind of what I had in mind for that, if I have got enough fabric. And she just reminded me how much I want to make that when she shared the outfit the other day. So yes, hopefully that will be coming soon. I feel like I've probably given myself too much to sew for winter.
Yeah, well, at least you've got lots of inspiration, lots of stuff to keep you busy.
Yeah.
Harriet, you can twin with
yes,
her.
I think Harriet bought this fabric as well.
Yeah, Narissa was saying that there's some on Fabric Godmother now, so if you missed out.
Yeah, she shared a post the other day about deciding whether she was going to make it limited edition or not. So yes, go and have a look if you do want some, because I'm not sure we'll get those prints again.
Yeah, very exciting. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Joy. It was really interesting to hear about your stash, and I think we've picked up a lot of really good tips as well, like your volume storage, your sewing for the season, having plans. Yeah, loads of stuff.
Yes, and of course, no shame to people with big stashes. I am not anti-stash, just for me. This works for me. I'm a simple creature and I get overwhelmed very easily. So for me, I like to just kind of be able to visualize a few projects ahead.
Yeah, well, I think that's the most important thing, just like figuring out what works best for you, because it's so easy to like get caught up in like all the hype and the pressure in the community of like, you need to get this, you need to get this. But if you actually like think about what makes me happy, and you're like, okay, well, feeling like I've got this humongous to-do list isn't what
that's exactly it. That was what like a bigger stash felt like to me, was just a huge to-do list. And I think as well with the kind of like we were talking earlier about when you kind of have the pressure of like when there's a new thing out and you really want it. So something I started doing, not just with fabric, but like generally, if I ever want to buy something, is I just don't buy it straight away. And if I still want it in, 3 days, a week, a month, depending how big a purchase it is, then I buy it. And I find that generally does help a lot of impulse purchases and FOMO, which is very easy to get swept up in, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like with social media as well. Like you just like, I don't know, keep on top and keep up with everyone, but then sometimes it just gets a bit much and you need to like be like, what do I actually want? Like what's going on here?
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Nadia. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Do you have anything else you would like to add? I always feel like my brain tells me I should also ask you questions, but it's like a job interview, you can't think of anything.
I mean, in episode 1, Sandeep was like, when are you talking about your stash? I was like, maybe that can be the Christmas special. So Sandeep will me.
Yes, I love it. That'd be great.
Brilliant. So thanks so much for joining us, Joy. I'm really excited for your Sew Me Sunshine blog post and see all of your new projects that you've made.
Now I'm just going to make them.
I know. Well, you've got all your journaling and everything else to keep you busy as well. So yeah. So it's always exciting to see your content. It's always aesthetic and lovely. So yeah. So yeah. Thanks so much for joining, and thank you to everyone who watched live as well. I'm going to post the video on YouTube to watch afterwards. I probably should have said that at the beginning, because if you've watched it all on Instagram by now, it's too late. But yeah, I'm going to post on YouTube, and there'll be a blog post with the highlights of Joy's top tips. So thank you, and I'll see you next time when we've got a super exciting guest from the Sewing Bee.
Who?
That's
Who, sorry?
I'm going to leave it as a teaser, but I'm going to post it on my grid in 20 minutes. So.
I can't wait. I simply cannot wait.
Brilliant. So I'll see you next week at 8 p.m. on Thursday. Bye.
Bye.